Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to Keep It 90. As you can tell, the setup is very, very different. It's me and Copes in the building. We're not in the studio this week. We've got 3 of our members currently out, but we thought because we had the biggest game of the season so far happen last night, we had to react to it. Obviously, Copes is a big, big Arsenal fan.
Yes.
And as you can see by his facial reactions, I actually don't know how you're feeling, but before all of that, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. I can't complain. Yeah, good. Weekend was nice vibes, good energy. So, yeah, just started the week fresh, and yeah, I'm all good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, you know. I feel like the weekend of football was really exciting. We're not going to talk about too many of the other teams, but you know when
Yeah.
your team wins, obviously Chelsea won to a team that we normally lose. Yeah, I was just so happy. I had another clean sheet. So yeah, we go again, man. But let's get straight into the game anyway, because
Yes.
Arsenal versus Manchester City was at the Etihad Stadium. There was a lot going into the game, and it was a great game. I'll be honest. It had everything from literally the first minute. Kai Havertz blocking Rodri off set the tone for the
Literally,
whole game.
literally, it gave me that old school. You know what's funny, yeah? Because what's the last week, 2 weeks, everyone's been talking about what's it, Barclays man or something like that. I
Yeah,
saw that
Barkley's man.
trend,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was literally that's the vibe it gave me. Like it's been a while. Even when you think the Spurs rivalry, the North London derby was last week, and it's
Yeah.
always a good match to watch. But as you said, when Havertz did that sort of chest into Rodri, it just gave me that old school Prem. It's about to go down. Like,
Yeah.
come on, let's get it popping kind of vibe. And to me, it was just I was impressed. I was amazed by the boys. I thought it was a good performance for 90 minutes. I thought Arteta, it's one of those things where it's been gradual growth. I think when you think over the last 3 times we've been to the Etihad, we tried to play them at their game. We weren't quite ready, bopped. Last year we need to be more tactical, but this year we were like, nah, we're gonna play your game a bit, and we did that for what 44 minutes, where we were actually up. Like, I'll be real, I was shocked.
Yeah,
First
no,
off,
definitely.
Calafiori blind over goal. I thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
oh my, welcome to the Premier League. And to be fair, even before that, I thought Savinho was giving it to him a little bit. I thought, I'm not sure if you're ready for this, but that happened. And then obviously, Big Gabby does what he does best. Walker
He is
try.
unstoppable
Oh, he's
in
he's
the
he's a,
air.
he's a beast. Like, it's
But
crazy.
you know what, yeah, it's really interesting because obviously, like you said, it was a really good performance from Arsenal in that first half, especially. But then Haaland scoring that goal, I think that was good for him because he started the game on fire as well because he was going up for headers, challenging everything. He scored that good goal, like you said, Savinho assist, and then from there it kind of looked like it was going to be a City walking that game because they looked very comfortable. They started the game as they've started the season, dominating possession, creating chances as well. Both wingers taking on their men as well, which is something we're not really used to City wingers doing as such on both sides. We would probably only saw that when Sterling and Sane were about. So it was interesting them going back to that. But then the game just flipped on its head, and I think we got to talk about all the decisions. So we've got to break it down from the first big decision,
Yep.
which was the free kick that led to Arsenal scoring the first goal. Obviously, there was a free kick that City gave away. There was some hustle and bustle between both teams, and the referee rightly called both captains over. As he called both captains over after he finished talking to them, he didn't really let them get set, which is fair enough. Walker did; he was able to recover, but it wasn't. It might not have been as well as he would have wanted to. What do
Yeah.
you think of that situation? Do you feel like they were warranted to feel a type of way?
Um. Yes, if I'm being unbiased, of course, because the reality was Walker was set. Like, the back four was set. And I think was it Pep? One of them did mention it, but the fact that the reality is foul had happened, their back line was set, and you've actually asked Walker to come out of position to have that conversation. Could Walker have got there a bit quicker? I don't know, because I mean, to be fair, Arsenal sort of spotted the chance and they just sort of went for it. But
Mm.
listen, if that had happened to us, I'd have been a bit. pissed off, really, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, no, if I'm being unbiased, then yeah, I can see why they would feel a type of way. But as you said, Walker did recover, so you know, but yeah, it is what it is.
Calipari then scored the banger. Then we have the second goal. Gabriel, like you said, monstrous in the air. He seems like he's just going to score every single opportunity that he gets from a corner. Interesting decision about around that though is obviously Edison was blocked off by Saliba and Martinelli, and yes, they're not making any like formal action to stop him, but their bodies are obviously doing that. If that was against you, again,
Yeah.
do you feel like that's wrong?
You know what it is? It's a tricky thing when it comes to, like, my opinion when it comes to keepers, because sometimes I feel like they need the protection, and then sometimes I feel like they get too much protection.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Edison really wanted to, he could have made a real big meal of the fact that they were in his way, and they could have been all extravagant about it, and then the ref would have blown the whistle. But the reality is, as you said, they weren't really doing too much in the way. Listen, they're just big bodies in front of you. Deal with it, kind of thing. That's just the way I see it. If I'm being honest with you, at the end of the day, I mean, we saw. I think it was even in the last part of the game with Raya when he did a big commanding grab of the ball. Like, if you want it, get it. If you know,
Okay, yeah, you
yeah,
get it. You're the
show
only
that you're
person
attempting.
to get the ball. You're the only person in that box that is allowed to use their arms. So you actually should be favor in every single situation. And like you said, I think if Edison actually made a serious attempt to get that ball, he probably would have got a foul because of those two players blocking him off. But he did the exact same thing in the first one. And they were like, oh, like he didn't make a meal of it. So let's do it again. The exact same set piece. Shout out Saka for those quality balls that he literally just
Yeah.
puts in for Gabriel. But yeah, that made it 2-1.
Also,
And then
also
the
by the
game
way, I also just shout out to also Pep, because first, I'm not being funny. Doku was man marking Gabriel for the first one, and he nearly
yeah.
scored. And you would have thought, all right, put someone a bit bigger on. By the way, like, I think Gabriel scored, like, he's currently like the most goals from a centre back in whatever period of time. So you put Doku
Mm.
on first of all, and then you put Carl Walker. So you put like two of the shortest kind of guys in the City team against this centre back who scores goals for fun on set pieces. I just thought, to be honest with you, that was just a weird one I found from Pep. I was a bit shocked about that one. If I'm being honest, I
You
would
know
have
what
thought,
it is? I think Kyle Walker should have done better in that situation. I think obviously we saw, and it's so crazy that he scored from that because we saw him tapping him, trying to see where he is, making sure that he still knows where he is.
yeah,
He sent him disgustingly. And obviously Gabriel, he's in form in front of goal, so he's gonna be in favour. But one thing I actually forgot to mention was a thing that actually shifted the game completely, and that was Rodri getting injured in that
yes,
game, clutching at his right knee. Not real compact. He didn't really make any compact. What word am I trying to think of? He didn't make any. What word am I thinking of? He didn't. He didn't. Him and Party didn't
oh, I see what you mean.
seem to have any like real issue. Like
Yeah,
it just seemed like he just fell
yeah,
because
I know what you
he
mean. Like,
like
there was no
jarred.
like challenge between them. There was no real like coming together. There's no real like contact. It was sort of just, it's sort of just,
Yeah, contact.
yeah,
Why am I saying contact? Yeah, there was no contact from
yeah.
Party, but there's reports recently that he has done his ACL and he's out for the season.
Oof.
So that's going to be a big miss for them. That's going to be a big miss for them because he is their captain or one of their captains. He's the
Yeah.
best midfielder in the world. We spoke about Odegaard being missing for Arsenal. I think this is a bigger miss. The only blessing that they have in disguise is that they were actually able to get Gundogan back for free, and now they almost have like a replacement that knows the system, knows the role. But that's going to be a huge miss for City, man.
You know what? 100%, without question. I think, yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely going to be a big miss. I suppose, but the one benefit City have, unlike Arsenal, with the Odegaard situation, because I must admit, with Odegaard, that one wound me up for a while, only just because I didn't understand Vieira going on loan without a proper replacement and not using Wanyeri. But moving away from that, at least with City, we've seen the likes of John Stones for like a second half of the season
Mm,
do absolutely amazing in that sort of DM role when they need him to sort of invert in there.
yeah.
And they've still got De Bruyne, Kovacic, bless what's his name,
Nunes.
Matheus Nunes. Yeah, he's just sitting on the bench. So still got quite a lot of good players that can sort of help fill the void. But I mean, yeah, it's still a big miss by all stretch. I mean, because Rodri is a terrific player. Don't like when he speaks because I feel like he's actually just giving it some fake, oh, look at me, I know what I'm talking about, when it's all in hindsight. But yeah, but as a player, terrific player, and it's a shame. But again, the one slight positive is the fact that it wasn't through any like dirty-handed like tackles or challenges. It was just it was just an unfortunate. It looked like just sort of gave way. So
It gave way, man. And it's weird because obviously I think that definitely changed the game plan for City because they were playing really well up until that point. Even them conceding the goal that they conceded from Calafiori, I'd say that they were definitely the ones that were looking like they wanted to create chances, they wanted to dominate possession. But then after that, like we said, Arsenal were, they were getting into the game a little bit more. We're going into the half time, and then Trossard, he makes a good challenge. I'd say it's a silly challenge in a sense, but you understand why he's doing it because of the type of game it is. He wants to be aggressive. Referee blows the whistle. He's already on a yellow card for pulling back a City player, and then he kicks the ball very far, and he
yeah,
gets another yellow card. And I remember we spoke about the Rice red card at Brighton.
yes.
Do you share that same opinion for the Trossard red card?
As far as he shouldn't have got it, is that
It
what you?
being
That's
normal, right?
all right. Here's what I feel. If we're being consistent across the boards, give him the yellow. I mean, you could sit there and argue he was just carrying on with play. He might not have heard. But if we're doing this whole quote unquote letter of the law, give him the yellow. Cool. My only issue is, which again, and I feel like I'm going to stop talking about these guys for the rest of the season, is these refs. I need consistency. That's it. That's all it is. My thing is, if you wanted to do, because also that's the second player. That's, by the way, Arsenal, by the way, the only team so far, 2 sendings off, and it's all because of wasting time. Meanwhile, I've been seeing, I mean, because you know how social media is. Everybody's an analyst. I've been seeing people log in all the different wasting times of players could have been sent off so far since the Rice incident, and we're not seeing yellow cards here, there, and everywhere. So my thing is, should he got the second yellow? Yes, if you want to go by letter of the law, he's kicked it away. But again, I mean, you might come. I suppose you're going to speak about it. But Doku, there was another incident in that game where, again, quote unquote, time is being wasted, and you just sort of let it go. So it's again, what are we doing here? Is it just if you're wearing a red shirt, we're gonna go to the letter of the law, and if you're wearing another shirt, we're not. That's just my big issue that I'm having with this whole should players be sent off for these kind of things at the moment.
No, I hear you completely. And obviously, we don't want to see players get sent off in these type of games because we want it to be as competitive as possible, yeah. But the reality of
Yeah,
Arsenal, yeah,
yeah.
and Arsenal fans to a certain extent is that I feel like there's a lack of like accountability and know-how. Like for the players, you already know that your team has already suffered a red card for a similar situation. You as a player, you're away at the Etihad, you're leading the game.
Mm.
He's not thinking in his head, Doku did that, so I'm going to be able to do that. And if he is, then you should be thinking better than that because football don't work that way. Sometimes the decision goes for and against for different teams, different players. The Doku situation, the only reason why I'd say that is up in the air is because the referee was pointing at the direction for the ball to go back.
Sam,
He was.
you're
No,
making
if
me.
we're being completely honest.
If we're in the studio now, I'd have to sit there and do what I did last time and show Wagwan because
No, but
I'm with you.
come on. No,
I saw the ref pointing, but let's be real. We saw what Doku was doing. Rice was just
yeah,
there.
yeah.
He knew what he was
But that's the
doing.
thing. So he knew what he was doing. He done it on purpose. But is it the same as Trossard blasting the ball after committing a foul when it's literally like it's just not the same situation? You know why? Because Havertz wanted to take the free kick early, right? And then the referee was pointing at a direction where the ball should be. Doku toe poked it towards that direction. It was 3 yards behind the place that the referee wanted the free kick to be taken. You cannot tell me that that is the same situation.
My only thing, and the reason why I'm challenging what you're saying is because if we're keeping it a stack and we're talking about it, oh hold on, let me finish. Rice, you lot kept on telling me letter of the law. All we saw, Rice brushed the ball against Brighton, brushed it. Meanwhile, Veltman kicks it in front of him. So if we're being consistent, we've seen the likes of João Pedro booting it sky high, Trossard booting it sky high, Doku, come on mate, you're a professional footballer. We know that Rice is there and you're going to kick it over there. Cool. And rightly so, the players have gone, hold on a minute. You wanted it there and he's kicked it over there. No different to Rice. Rice has moved us.
It's a reach. It's a reach.
It's not.
It is a reach.
It's all about consistency, and that's the problem. And that's the problem.
But that's the thing, yeah. Like if we're being completely honest, Declan Rice kicked the ball off the pitch. Yeah, he didn't kick it to an area that Veltman could take the free kick. Trossard kicked the ball off the pitch. He didn't kick it to an area that the free kick was supposed to be taken. Doku kicked the ball towards the area that the free kick was supposed to be taken. Whether you like it or not, it is just not the same situation. Like, you can't tell me, you look at all of those situations and you think all of them are equally yellow cards. There's two that 75% chance they will be yellow. The other, if the referee is being busy on that day, he will give Doku a yellow. But in any other situation, how many times have we seen players kick the ball back because the referee is saying kick, and they will just take it further back because you can take it further back, but you can't take it further forward? We know that. But you're not being honest.
No, but it's just, no, for me, it's just consistency. Like, again, that's all it is to me. It's consistency. Again, if you, again,
not
like.
The same situations.
No, but the point, no, but what point is I'm saying is, for example, again, as we mentioned the João Pedro, we mentioned other, again, there was, you know what, I wish, had I thought about it, there was a list of, on Twitter of like all these time wasting scenarios.
Who made that list? Arsenal fan.
Even Szoboszlai, when they keep showing the Szoboszlai one, again, hoofs it on the other side of the pitch. Nothing. Like, this is the problem. It's less about, it's consistency. What determines wasting time? Because Szoboszlai can kick it all the way across the goal, nothing. Rice can tap it, or yellow. Trossard hoofs it. Like, there's just too much inconsistency where it's up to the ref's discretion. So it's like, what are we doing? Are you keeping by the letter of the law? Are you using common sense? Are you using discretion? That's just my only problem with it. That's literally my only thing.
It seems like they're using their subjective like discretion, yeah, from each of these situations. And I think with that Trossard situation, he heard it loud and clear. Most Arsenal fans, even if Doku gets a yellow, he's not getting sent off. So it's just not. There's no even point.
No, but fans don't care about that. Fans don't care about that. It's no different to the Arsenal's Brighton game. If João Pedro gets a yellow and then Rice gets a yellow, as much as I'm still aggrieved by the Rice one, at least you're being a level of consistent in terms of wasting time. That's the difference.
But the issue is Arsenal players still showing a lack of discipline in these type of situations. That's the biggest issue. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would look within. And I'd look at the players and I'd say, you need to do better, because we can move on to what the second half now became, where it was 11 versus 10, Arsenal's half. Arsenal, the lowest block I've ever seen in my, genuinely.
Yeah.
It was beautiful though. Don't get it twisted. I've seen low blocks. I support Chelsea. I've seen
the
height of Jose, saw Di Matteo in the Champions League. I've seen Conte as well, even at City when he won the league. Like, it has to happen sometimes, yeah. I think Arsenal defended so well as a team during that situation. How was you when you was watching that? Was there part of you thinking that you could potentially do more on the ball? Because I saw a few stats. Havertz and Timber both didn't complete a single pass in the whole game. That's a bit mad.
No, it is. I must admit, I thought that was a bit mad. But you know what? They made up for it in other areas. Because as you said, that it was a defensive masterclass. Basically, we had to perform for the better part of 50 plus minutes. And all right, you're not necessarily getting all those passes together, but again, Timber, even Kai Havertz, he's active, he's pressing, he's doing his defensive duty, he's doing what was needed to be done for the team. Could you have gotten a couple more passes together? Yes, but the way we were playing in that second half, I mean, we weren't getting too many breaks. If I'm being honest, so it's like, okay, if they could have got one or two more completed passes, could that have changed things? Maybe, but I just think the way we were sitting back so deep, I struggle to see how that could have really done anything. Yeah, so I mean to that, but again, for what Timber and Havertz are doing now, that defensive masterclass, that's all I needed from them. Because again, Etihad coming away with a point, boy. Yeah,
Okay. This is interesting now. Because
yeah,
you say masterclass, yeah?
yeah.
It's a defensive masterclass. And I'm saying it was quality, yeah. But
Hmm.
defensive masterclass, you don't concede. So
No,
that's where I like we differ. Because
yeah,
I think that it was great. And I think that during that game, I was saying that if Arsenal are able to get the win away at Etihad, I'll have them as favourites to win the league.
yeah,
Because doing that and having even being that brave to say, you know what, we're gonna defend for the next 40. We don't see that too much
mhm.
in modern football anymore. Like so seeing it at that stage and it being going so well, I was like, okay, cool, fair enough. Arsenal doing their thing. But then when John Stones scored that last minute equalizer, I said, I don't know. It's still City's to lose, even with Rodri out injured.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I must admit, I was thinking to myself while watching that, when are you going to blow this whistle? I must
Mm.
like, we were about what, a minute and a half after the 7 minutes. I was like, okay, this is feeling like, back in the day with Fergie time, Old Trafford.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
watching, you're like, can you blow the whistle? Like, what are we still doing playing? Like, that's what it gave me a little bit. It was like, okay, I know obviously we were sitting there doing tactics which you don't normally see of an innocent Arsenal, but that's what the 7 minutes was for. So once I saw that minute and a half, I thought, all right, Oliver, come on, like blow the whistle. And surprise, surprise, they were given enough time to just, yeah, just unravel all of that hard work that had just been done for like that previous 45 minutes. It was just, yeah, it was just only City could get that these days. I feel, not to
yeah.
say there's an agenda or anything, but it just gave me that Fergie time, Old Trafford. No, the darlings of the Premier League have to get something out of this match. That's what it just gave me, that vibe. It was like, oh yeah, you lot wanting them to come away with something, but
No, for
fair
sure.
play to
It,
Stones.
it was a good goal from Stones. It was good play
Yeah,
from them as well. And they were it was weird seeing City. To be fair, it wasn't weird because Arsenal were defending so well. But the way they were defending was like they gave Diaz. Diaz was the only player on that pitch that had time on the ball. I think he had about 6 or 7 shots in that second half. Anyone else that touched the ball, even if it was on the edge of the ball, edge of the box or out wide, they were onto them. And seeing that and seeing the way Arsenal were defending was like, raw. Like this is a really like strong side. But for me, why I've had a few arguments with Arsenal fans recently is because I've said that in that performance, I didn't see something different to what I've seen from this Arsenal defense recently. We know Arsenal can defend.
yeah,
We know Arsenal are great, one of the best defensive sides since last season. Yeah, I feel like there is a positive because a draw away at the Etihad is great, but the
yeah,
context of the actual game, not losing, but losing that goal in that moment made me feel like City still they've just still got that over you, man. And even the way everyone was reacting after saying our City are rattled, they've never been rattled like this, whatever. People are forgetting this is a team that has won 4 titles in a row.
hmm,
Yeah. Arsenal are their closest rivals. But from what we've seen in the past with Zinchenko going back to the Etihad and Kyle Walker picking him up and slapping his head and that, the results that we've seen in the past, I think that the record is, I think City have scored over 30 goals against Arsenal and Arsenal have scored like 6 in the last like 7 or 8 games or whatever.
yeah.
It's clear that they don't respect Arsenal for what they are currently. So I feel like they're struggling with that. They're
You know what?
struggling with the fact
I
that
I
Arsenal
did I disagree.
really.
I think they're realizing actually Arsenal are being their bonnet, which actually is becoming infuriating. Just if
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I was going to. I think that they're
okay,
realizing that is. I don't think it's rattling. I think they've not respected Arsenal for so long. We've seen all the results in recent years. They've not respected them
yeah,
for so long. But these last 2 years, Arteta's been onto them. So they're realizing, and obviously all of their players, Haaland is realizing like he can't score as much against
and this is
Saliba and
it.
Gabriel. The
Yeah,
defenders are struggling. He makes sure Kyle Walker's playing because you need to counteract Martinelli's pace or whatever. I don't think it's like rattling as such. I think it's just like real, like a realization. Like, now these men are here, and we've got to try and keep them as the like little bros. So you see Haaland, like bro, Haaland going up to Arteta and saying humble, stay humble,
I didn't rate that at all.
That is crazy, bro.
I did not rate that at all. I'll be real with you. I thought that was corny, fam. Like I actually
Really?
watched that. I watched that and I thought, Harley, you are actually corny, bro. You're actually corny for that. Like
You
as
didn't
far
like
as
it?
nah, not
Okay, you didn't
really.
like it.
No, not really. But to be honest with you, if to roles reverse, if Saka did that to Pep, I think, bro, that's corny. Like for me, it's one of those things where, with all due respect to Haaland, beast, what it is, but like you've gone to the manager who's not sitting there taking swipes at you, not taking jabs. He's not in the battle. Like my thing was, if you're that big and bad, because I saw him puffing his chest up to Jesus. If you sat there and did that and said be humble to Gabriel, who him and Saliba have had your number for the past 3 years, I'd go, you know what, I like this. I like that you're giving it to Gabriel afterwards. But no, you chose the manager who's out on the pitch, respecting both sides, saying, good game, and you're sort of going, be humble, huh? Be humble, huh? Well, nah. Do that to the centre back who's had you in his pocket X amount of times over the last couple of years, and we've seen visible frustration from you. Like, there's a reason why you put that ball and hit at the back of his head, because he's there. He's right there.
He's in his
But
head
no,
still. He's in his head
yeah,
still.
he's in his
He's
head.
in
But
his
you,
head.
but you've
No,
gone,
that
you've
is
gone for the
funny.
manager that ain't doing nothing, and then you're puffing your chest out to Gabriel Jesus, who's like half your height. He's basically going, "Why are you talking like that to the manager? Show a bit of respect." And then you're there, effing and blinding him, and it's just a bit like, this is just, I'm being like, this is wet, fam. Like, I can't rate it, fam. Like, go and do that to you. Like,
No,
you
no,
wouldn't
it
do.
is.
It's just
I
weird, man.
get your perspective. I get your perspective, and I think doing that to a manager is a bit. But for me, just seeing all of that stuff, it like you said from the start of the game, I just like this energy, bro. I
Yeah.
want City. I don't want it to be a walk in the park for them. I don't want them
Yeah.
to go into games and be all friendly. Like we're too used to what City and Liverpool used to be when Pep and Klopp were like praising each other. The players were praising each other's strengths and weaknesses. We're seeing smiling after the game. I don't want to see that. I don't
Yeah.
mind it as such. I'm not an extremist. But seeing like it's the same as when I saw Conte and Tuchel shake hands and
Oh,
Tuchel
yeah.
didn't let go. That type of stuff needs me, bro. I don't think you understand. Like you need to see the rivalry. You need to see players getting angry. They're throwing a ball at man's head and stuff like, bro. That's a part of like shithousery and like
No, it
doing
is.
things to get into your opponent's heads and things like that. That's what you want to see. You think that after Haaland doing that the Arsenal players aren't rattled when they're seeing all the clips today. You think Arteta's not rattled by seeing that clip today. Like you think Haaland's not even like he's probably already rattled at the fact that he only really had one chance on goal.
Yeah.
Like so it's I think it's good for football, man. It's good for football, and I'm not here for anyone saying like I hear your perspective, like the manager thing, fair enough. Like keep him out of it to a certain extent, but it's just how the
Listen,
game goes,
no, but
man.
you know what it is? But like I said, I'm with you. I'm from that school of, I love the shithousery, because obviously when you're playing on the weekend and stuff, that's just what you do in it. Like you're trying to get underneath your opponents. I love it, but my just whole thing was, you've gone to an easy target. That's just my thing. That's an easy target. Like, why are you going to the manager who's not like doing anything, and then you're bullying Jesus? Like, it's just, to me, it's just like the big rivalry like within that team, for example, is Saliba, Gabriel, Haaland. So go on, talk your shit to them, boys. The way they've been talking, because again, they were battling. That's what I love. They were battling out in each other's faces in the middle of the match. Everybody's coming to. I love that shit. But it's like, don't go for the people that aren't. They're not. I'm not gonna say not built like that, but they're not. They weren't in it like that. It's just a bit. I don't know. It's just a cheap one. It's like a bully going for like easy prey. It's kind of like, come on, man. Like you can do a
I
bit
hate.
better. You can do a bit better than that. And also, by the way, when he threw that ball at the back of Gabriel's head, I love how he did that when he saw Gabriel had the shirt over his head. He couldn't see who it was. I'm telling you, the more I look at
I
it,
don't know
hey,
if you
Haaland,
saw
you're
no, but
moist,
the
fam.
way
Haaland, he's
I know, but
looking
I don't
moist.
know. I don't know. I don't
Nah,
know.
he knew it, fam, because he knew full well if Gabriel didn't have that shot and turned around, all would have kicked off. And by the way, that's another thing I don't like when I saw today about the fact that they're not retrospectively looking like that. Because I'm telling you, if
Oh,
Gabriel
come
had not,
on.
bro, let's
Come
be real.
on.
What would have happened if Gabriel didn't have that shirt over his head? It's all kicking
So
off.
if it kicks off now, they're not gonna go back to that situation and say that that's dangerous or reckless play. It's like, fam, he can get a yellow card maybe, but you're not getting sent off for that. You're not getting sent off.
That
And
could have
if he does
incited
get sent
something.
off for
That could
nah,
have incited something. Come on, because you've hit it in the back of his head intentionally. You've intentionally thrown it to the back of his head. I'm with you, but if we're
yeah,
going to all this letter of the law and you got to be safe and inciting violence and all of that. Haaland knew what he was doing. It's not like he just kicked the ball. He's not like Veltman, for example, where you rolled the ball in front of Rice and use that as an opportunity to get a little dig. Like, no, you fully took that ball and dashed that with, with power to the back of man's noggin and kept it moving as if you didn't do it. Like, and then VAR apparently looked at it and said it was okay. It's like, okay, we see what you
it's
want.
okay.
We see
It's
City. We
okay.
see you, City. Okay, we
If
see
it
you,
was any
City.
other game, you would have just. If it was any other game, you would have just laughed at it. But now I do hear you though. I hear your points, and it's. I'm just saying. I just like the rivalry. But in terms of the actual game and what it's taught us about what is going to happen in the Premier League, because like we said, we've seen so much that has happened since the game. Rodri getting injured,
Mm.
Trossard now out for a red card. Has this changed how you're viewing the way the league is going to go in favor for Arsenal, or do you feel like because City got the last minute draw, it's that they're just going to run it back?
Um, no, I'm not gonna say that. To be honest with you, for me, it's still too early to tell because, again, just like that, I wasn't thinking Rodri would be out for a whole season. I mean, obviously, I've said that they've got the fight, they've got the personnel to sort of recover from that. But again, it just shows how quickly in this league, just like that, one of your big players can go out without, again, not even a challenge, just literally he's just running. And that happened. And again, more Champions League games this year, as we've discussed about. So again, players' bodies, it's going to be real interesting to see which teams can stay healthy enough throughout the entire duration of the season. So again, if we had got the 3 points, I'd have been here chatting my shit, obviously being like, come on, first team to beat them in 47 home games, all of that good stuff. But I don't think them nicking it last minute is enough for me to sway, oh yeah, they're gonna run it all back again. Just because again, with the likes of Rodri, it just shows how quickly like that, how quickly you can just start losing some of your key players. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, no, I'm liking that though. It's there's still fire. I like there's this fire in the bed. I must admit, I do like the fact that City still show that they care. If that makes
Of
sense,
course. But that's what
because
I'm saying. That's why when people are saying about like them being rattled by Arsenal, that can be the case. And obviously we've seen what Bernardo Silva said, we've seen what the manager said, Kyle Walker. It's like people need to understand they need something to get them going because they've won 4 titles in a row. It is easy to get complacent in that situation. It's just it's likened to MJ saying he took things personal with like made up scenarios. Just to like, fam, it happens. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? When you're winning so much, you're gonna need something to get you going. Haaland's got the goals tally, so he's always gonna have something to keep him going. But the other players, like the Bernardo Silvas, the Gundowans, the Kyle Walkers, the Stones, these men have won everything. So what better is it for them to see an opponent and see something in them and like, no, we can't let them win that after not beating us for the last 2, 3 seasons. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's interesting.
no, it definitely is. But I do like the fact also they can't keep talking about them bopping us here, there, everywhere. That's so far. Last year we took 4 points, they took a point. This year we've each shared a point. So it literally at the moment it's coming down to all the teams around us too, as far as that's what's deciding this thing. So yeah, well, it's a very interesting season. But for all I know is people can't talk that ish anymore about yeah, City come to Emirates, bop you, Etihad bop you. It's not
Yeah.
spoken enough about the fact that we took 4 out of 6 points from them last year. I feel like that goes under the radar. How the team has evolved as far as again we're playing our game and our game is working. Well, to an extent, I should say Villa. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a very interesting season. But yeah, no, I
No,
loved
for
it.
sure.
Very old school game on the weekend.
For sure. No, the reverse fixture is going to be spicy. And that's it for today's episode, actually, guys. We thought let's just react to Arsenal and
Yeah.
City because it's the biggest game so far. We're hoping to be in the studio next week, but we will do a lot more reactions like this as well. So let us know if you have any questions, anything you want us to react to. FC25 is coming out. The content's going to be coming very soon as well. And I need to be good at that game because I was not there for FC24, but this game, top 20 in the UK.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
I love the belief in your eyes.
Hey, let's go. What football show wants to challenge us? Come on, man. Let's do it this year.
Yeah, anyone can get it, man. Anyone can get it. But again, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.